Okay, we're back. So if you were there on
Welcome
the
to
on the
Wednesday night
last
OWCP
live
chat.
stream, we had technical difficulties again.
Still not working.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna yeah, it will. There's a delay. There's a delay. Just let's go.
All right, everybody. Okay, so I know we're not straight. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP chats times 3 with Chris and Genie and
Gizmo.
your 3 little finger guy, Gizmo. All right, everybody. So, okay, working for me. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it wasn't working on our end, so I wouldn't be able to see anything. Anyway, tonight, a lot of you have asked
It
me.
wouldn't be Wednesday night chats if we didn't have technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Tonight, we were talking about COP, continuation of pay, and LWOP, leave without pay. I was reading, Chris, some of the questions that a lot of you have been asking. We had somebody say they were brand new with the VA. They did not know about COP or LWOP. And then somebody from USPS said that they went through whatever training you guys do when you have new employees or your new employee day. And they did not cover this, which I don't know. And a lot of you can let me know. Do you guys go over OWCP, like the simple things when you have a new employee within AFGE or USPS or any other agency?
There's no chance that that's in the training manual.
Because this is why we tell you to come here. A lot of the unions will tell us, hey, we're doing, today they're doing their employee day where they tell them everything and they want us to go, but because it's just so many places we can't make it. So this is why we tell you to come here. So tonight we're going over COP and LWOP. And so in the meantime, I'm going to share.
So she's going to do the sharing thing again. We're going to ask you to do it again too. Thank you for your patience. Glad everyone's here. So yeah, tonight I'm going to talk about an important topic for you because when you get hurt at work, the biggest concern you have is often not the injury.
Yes.
Instead, usually the biggest problem that you have is how am I going to get paid? And those of you that know me know that my one of the criticisms things that Chris says a lot or all the time is that the surest way to get paid is to clock in. And so we are always encouraging you to get back to work as soon as possible because the biggest problem you have is everything that comes next after the injury. You file your CA7s for LWOP, which we'll get into in a second, and there's a mistake. And so you get a denial letter instead of money. Or, you didn't know about continuation of pay. So you don't realize that there's a way for you to get paid in the first 45 days if you can't work.
Right.
Now, I want you to go to work. And it's not because, and I say this all the time, I'm not the company doctor. I hate that saying. Like, I hate the words company doctor because typically it means that whatever the employer wants is what the doctor does,
Correct.
which I think is not borderline. I think it's like wildly unethical. And when really the doctor should just do whatever is needed, regardless of what anybody thinks about it.
Yep.
Because these are medical decisions, and going back to work is a medical decision. So we just want you to get back as soon as medically possible so that you don't have to jump through hoops to get paid again. But tonight I'm going to talk about how to jump through the hoops and how you do get paid if you have to be out of work. But I want to just take a little detour because while she's sharing and you all should be sharing too, we've been watching the news and it seems like if you're a federal employee that things are sort of like a nightmare right now.
Yeah, trust us. We are with all of you federal employees. This sucks to get fired or whatever. But the reason he's bringing this up is.
Yeah, well, we were watching TV the other day and I said, Ginny, look, it's Mr. Kelly, it's Tish,
It's all the
Cheryl,
MVPs
it's
for
Jason.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are our friends. Why aren't we there with them? We didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
In DC, but they're on TV. It was really cool seeing our friends. But what they're rallying for and fighting for was, what I think your biggest problem is right now. But there is, believe it or not, a way to tie what you're going through into OWCP. And I started telling her, like, what do people do that are hurt right now and they're worried they're going to lose their job?
Yeah. So that brings me, I know you guys saw me do a post a couple days ago. I think it was like Monday, that I asked, I'd like to speak to a nurse case manager. And I got some people that want to speak, that are willing to speak with me. And I also asked if some of the either the local or the state presidents, if I can get in contact with you, we want to know what's going on with your people. We have such a large audience. I mean, between all of our social media pages, we have 36,000 followers. And that's across like 6 social media pages. And we want to be able to get the word out what's happening, especially when you're injured. And I don't know if it's rumors or not, so don't quote me on that, that they're letting go those people that have OWCP injuries. And there is thousands of you, and that sucks.
Well, it's tens of thousands.
Yeah. So this is why we want to talk to some of you so we can get the message out to you to let everybody know, hey, you're either going to be okay, or let's see what we can do to help if we possibly can.
Now, with all that said, let's not freak everybody out.
Right.
That was a rumor.
That's a rumor. Yeah, we don't know.
None of that is substantiated. I haven't actually seen a single person, and if you're one of them, let us know. But I haven't seen a single person who was fired because of a work injury. But we're hearing that that's like a fear out there.
Right.
And so don't freak out. All right. If you have a work injury, you have a right to get fixed. Like, you don't have to stay broken forever. You have a right to get help. And so I'm going to help you with that by just telling you this. You have lifetime medical benefits. So if you have, and hear me, okay, I am not about to say just file a work injury even if it's not real, okay? Because those of you who know me know that that's the one way you get yourself in trouble. I'm not telling you to do that. What I am saying is that if you have a work injury and you haven't reported it, the wrong time to do so is the day after you're let go from your job.
Correct.
The wrong time to report it is the day after you retire, the day after you quit, the day after some separation happens from the job. Now, thank God there are some lawsuits that are going on.
Yeah.
And I predict there's going to be hundreds of them, if not thousands. And hopefully that we'll get to put a stop to this nightmare.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I want you to just realize that if this happens to you, and I pray to God it doesn't, you still have rights when it comes to OWCP. So if you're somebody that's worried about, what's going to happen next in your employment, and you also have a legitimate work injury, I'm just telling you, you need to report that injury right away, because if you wait till after the separation happens, you won't get help. But if you do it prior to, even though your claim's not accepted yet, you've reported the injury prior to it, and you will, when the claim gets accepted, have lifetime medical benefits. And here's the other thing, and then I'm going to get off this topic. I was just sitting, kind of just daydreaming, thinking like, gosh, what would I do? And if I was you, what would I do? I don't know what kind of severance package people are going to get, but during that severance time, that's a perfect time also to get better, because you got to know the next employer is going to want a healthy person coming to the job. And so be sure you take that time and get better, all the way better, so you can do whatever's next. But with that said, I hope your unions are as strong as I believe they are. I hope they're able to fight and stop all the nonsense as far as the terminations. And I got to say, I hope management goes first.
So Victor said APW was there in DC in solidarity. That's awesome. So we haven't seen you guys on the news, but that doesn't mean that you guys are not there. We definitely see AFGE, the national president, Mr. Kelly, and all his NVPs. We were like looking at the TV like, oh my gosh, I wish we were there. So if there's ever anything that's local or anything in DC, Chris and I will fly to go to DC for sure.
Yeah, we're with you.
But anything in Florida, we will travel from Tallahassee all the way down to Miami. So if you want us to come out,
we'll stay a long time in Miami.
We will be there, and we are behind you guys 1,000%. So, and just remember, a lot of you did tell me that you are retiring. So you still need to file your claim before you retire, even though the supervisor is going to say, no, you're going to retire.
It's none of their business.
Freaking file your claim.
It's none of their business. You have a right to get the help. So that was just something that was on my mind, on my heart, really feeling heavy.
Yeah.
Because
we're sad.
It's inevitable. Somebody is going to lose their job. It's inevitable. People have already. And I don't want it to be you, and you actually have a work injury that you've said, you rub some dirt on it and hope it gets better, because hope is not a strategy. That's another criticism. And don't rub some dirt on it. That's another criticism. Don't do any of those things. If you're legitimately injured, get help. And the only way to get help is to report your injury. And the only way to get a claim accepted is to do so before you no longer work there. That's very important. Pass it along, tell your friends. And I want to reiterate, I'm not here on live video on social media for the world to see saying to you, just file an injury claim.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm
it's not
saying.
about that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if it's a legit injury claim, don't avoid filing it.
Yeah, just get it done before whatever happens.
The law
Trust
allows for you to
us.
get help, and I want that to happen. And I'm also not saying file your injury claim and go to federal injury centers.
Right.
That's not what I said.
No.
I said file your claim. That's it. Just file it. File a legitimate claim and work like hell to get it accepted.
As we always say, we know we're not the only one. We may be the largest one out there,
And the
but
best.
there are doctors out there that are trained and able and willing to help you. Just Google
OWCP injury doctor in your city and state.
I don't know why I blanked out. Yeah. So just Google that. Even in ChatGPT, and I've done it several times, it will give you a list of doctors that are actually trained that do OWCP. So find someone.
Yep. All right. So enough of that, but don't wait till it's too late to report your injury. That's really critically important. We went over time frames the other day.
Oh, that's what we did last week.
Well, we did time
frames.
And that's right. Now it all is coming back. It's rushing back now into my brain.
Yeah. And the week before we went over one of the forums. Yeah.
But with regard to time frames, there is no time like the present for reporting an injury, especially if you're worried about what's coming next in your employment life.
So don't forget, you guys, we say this over and over and over, and it ties back to what Chris is saying, to file before anything happens, and God forbid anything happens. You have 3 years to file your work injury claim. File it now.
But some of you may not have 3 years.
Right. So file it now. You think you're injured because of your job, whether you work for AFGE, whether you work for USPS.
Nobody works for AFGE, but for the unions.
Yeah. All the agencies under them, file your claims now, just in case. And we're not freaking you out. We're just telling you this is real life. It's happening. Just file it.
We're freaking some people out.
So don't be freaked out. Victor said, fortunately, so far, USPS employees are safe. Unfortunately, other federal employees are not, but we are here to support other federal employee unions. Well, thank you, Victor.
Yeah, that's right.
So for everybody in AFGE, FLEOA, NAGE, and NAFE, Victor is with everybody, which is really nice.
And so are we.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, let's get into our topic tonight. I was actually surprised to hear so many people had questions and were confused about COP and LWOP.
So that's what we're going over. COP, continuation of pay, and leave without pay.
And of course, these are important because this is how you get paid if you can't work. Again, if you can work, just do that.
Correct.
Don't jump through hoops to get paid. It sucks so bad. I hear people all the time so frustrated because they got to turn in documentation. Maybe the supervisor made a mistake on the second page of the CA7, or they elected COP, but the supervisor coded it to sick and annual instead of COP. There's just so many hassles with trying to get paid when you're out of work. So that's why going to work is like a way to stop having that hassle. But if you're somebody who just can't, right? So then tonight is for you. And if you're a union steward, this is for you too, because your people are absolutely dealing with this problem. So listen up, take good notes, and help people that aren't here learning to help themselves tonight.
Correct.
All right. So first of all, COP is continuation of pay. Continuation of pay. You're only eligible for COP on a CA1 claim, which is an injury that happened in a single shift.
And I don't know if some of you, I told a lot of you that we were going to be on here talking about this. So please pay attention because you had a lot of questions about COP.
Yeah, we went through the Facebook messages and most of the questions were basically like, just talk about it. Tell me about COP and LWOP. I don't understand. Nobody ever told me this before.
Yeah, and if you missed it because we had a little technical difficulties, I said it at the beginning. There was a few people that said that they were in training. They're doing their new hire training, and they didn't cover OWCP, and they had no clue what COP and LWOP is until I posted this.
I mean, who's surprised that they don't talk about OWCP in the training? And I don't want you to get hurt at all. And so I imagine supervisors don't want you to know about it.
But this is something every new employee, regardless to who you work for, if you are a federal employee anywhere in the United States, this is something you need to know. So,
continuation of pay. You're only eligible on a CA1 injury that happened in a single shift. All right. So when you go to ecomp.dol.gov, you create an account, you click on the CA1 button, and you file your injury, right? You start filling out the form. The first page is yours. Box 15 of the first page of the CA1 says, how do you want to get paid? Essentially, box A is continuation of pay, and B is sick and annual leave. So many of you have heard me talk about this before, but we were teaching a group from Department of Labor, an AFGE group,
Yes.
Department of Labor group. And in the group, the local president of this group was a senior claims examiner, and he was a super cool guy. And when I was talking about this topic, he interrupted and said, Chris, you should teach everyone to just elect continuation of pay. Never willingly give away your sick and annual leave, because here's what it says on the CA1 form. If your claim is ultimately denied, then you have to pay it back, and you do so by giving them your sick and annual leave. So if you're just going to give up your sick and annual leave if your claim gets denied, but you won't have to give it up if your claim gets approved, then give yourself a fighting chance to not give up sick and annual leave. Don't just give it to them. So he said, tell everyone, this was a senior claims examiner, tell everyone to take COP.
Right.
And I love that, because what do you have to lose? If you lose your COP, they'll just take your sick and annual leave. Now, okay, there's another part to that. If you've used all your sick and annual leave, they're going to probably take money from you out of your paychecks.
Right.
But that's only if your claim is ultimately denied. Now, an ultimate denial means that you've been through all the appeals and you've done everything. It's gone to second opinion. It's gone to a referee doctor. It's done all these things. ECAB. We've done all the things and you're denied.
Right.
And even Chris can't help you.
Exactly.
Which almost never happens. So when your claim gets accepted, you don't have to worry about paying back COP. Okay, so I hope everyone understands that. It's a low risk if you go to a doctor who knows how to get a claim accepted. The other thing I hear people say, and I'm going to get back onto the COP topic, is, well, I'll just get a lawyer. And the good lawyers are going to say, no, you just need a doctor that knows how to do this, because here's what I'm going to do if I'm the lawyer. I'm going to find a doctor who can write a narrative report and get your claim accepted.
Yeah, let me just kind of touch on that a little bit. On a certain Facebook group, which they allow me to post, but they don't allow our videos to go, and I don't know why. But here's the thing. Everybody is asking why our videos are not on there, and they're asking exactly what Chris is saying.
I don't even remember what I just said. What are they asking?
Now I forgot what you just said.
Oh, good Lord.
They saved my life. The OWCP design frustrates you back to work. Correct. Now I forgot what I was going to say. I have short-term memory.
All right, so I'm back on topic. If you remember, just interrupt me.
I will.
This is my life, folks. I can't remember the last time I was in the middle of a sentence and did not get interrupted.
I have to say what I have to say so fast because I have short-term memory. Okay. Hey, Frank.
Sorry, folks. Okay. Jesus. Okay. So anyways, I don't even know where the hell I was.
Gosh.
This is not funny to the audience. Okay. No. So, back on, just screw it. Continuation of pay. All right. So what is COP? It is 45 calendar days of time off. Up to 45 calendar days of time off. If your claim gets approved in 2 weeks, your COP is gone in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Because it's 45 days or when your claim gets approved. That's how much continuation of pay you can get. And let's say you take like a partial day. You say, I need to be out of work for 4 hours a day. They take the entire day of COP, not a partial day. So any COP you take on any day constitutes a full day gone from COP.
Correct.
And so that's going to be really important. So you go to on your CA1 form, box 15, letter A, you elect continuation of pay. And then when you get paid, it's COP.
Correct.
Now, you need to make sure your supervisors are coding it properly because, again, like I said, lots of times supervisors will code it something else and they'll have to go change it. And then you'll probably have to get union help to get that done because supervisors can be jerks at times. I'm sure none of you knew that, but I'm here to teach. And one of the things I'll teach you is sometimes management can be jerks. So you might need help. But continuation of pay, COP, is good for up to 45 days of time off on a CA1 claim. And here's the last part, timeframes. You've got to report the injury within 30 days. Now, listen, I started this whole thing by saying, report all your injuries now. You don't even know what's happening tomorrow. Don't wait. Report immediately. And I swear to God, if all of you that are watching don't go back to work tomorrow and tell all of your injured friends, hey, you better report your injury today, then I didn't get my point across.
Especially with what's going on.
Because of what's going on.
Especially, yeah.
And I'm not saying report your injuries and go to federal injury centers. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
find somebody.
Protect yourself.
Yes.
Protect your injury. Protect your rights. and you have the right to report the injury and get lifetime help after the claim is approved. All right. So continuation of pay gives you the first 45 days of time off if you need it, or any piece of that. You don't have to take all 45 days.
Okay. And a lot of you have been asking, what happens if we do get fired with our OWCP claim?
Okay. If you're fired, first of all, I hope those of you that are union reps, you're up. Okay. You're up in a big way now.
And you need to be there for your people.
You're up. And I know you know it, but there's never been a more important time for union reps than right now.
Correct.
This is, since I've been doing this since 2007. I've been in healthcare since 1996. Like, I was a boy. And there's never been a time more important than right now for unions.
Yes.
This is the most important time. I was so encouraged to look up and see Mr. Kelly and all of his crew on TV. Like, everyone instantly stepped up, and that's what you're for. Like, this is your time.
A lot of you are asking, who is Mr. Kelly? Mr. Kelly is the AFGE's national president. And if you haven't seen him on TV, I don't know what to say, because he is everywhere. They're putting him everywhere because he is fighting for his people.
And we've known him since he was in Alabama.
It's like 2017.
Yeah, if you don't love Mr. Kelly, this is probably not the place for you.
Yeah,
I don't mind saying that because we're good friends.
Yes, we are.
We really love him. But, and Tish and Cheryl and everybody,
all the NVPs.
Cheryl's in the front row of my last class.
I
know. We had lunch with Jason in Las Vegas.
Jason, Mario.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, these are our friends, but these are really strong people, and you need strong people right now. But you're missing the boat completely, missing the point totally if you don't at least remember to go back and tell everybody, hey, protect your rights by reporting your injury. Whether you do something about it or not, report it. If you wait till after the fact, it's too late.
You're correct.
All right. So all of that was continuation of pay. I'm going to answer all your questions. So whatever you have, just bring them. She's going to read them. I'm going to answer them.
So whatever you have about continuation of pay, let's go.
Bring it. The other topic, though, is LWOP. LWOP stands for leave without pay. Well, I don't want to leave without pay. I don't want you to leave without pay either. That's the point. So let's say that you have an accepted claim. So that's thing number one. Your claim must be accepted to be able to get LWOP. Okay? Got to have an accepted claim. So if you go to a doctor who doesn't know their whatever from a hole in the ground and can't get a claim accepted, you're never getting LWOP, period. Okay? You get zero benefits to your claims accepted. We get greater than like 95, 97% of our claims accepted. But I understand that not all of you are within range of us.
Correct.
So you need to be very, very careful about who you choose, because if your claim's not accepted, you're going to have to pay back COP and you'll never get LWOP. All right. That's really critical. But LWOP is for people that do have accepted claims.
Correct.
And they're able to leave work without pay and then get paid LWOP using a Form CA7 claim for compensation. So once your claim is accepted, you have to just start documenting your time that you're out of work using a CA7, potentially a CA7A, which is a time analysis form, which basically is a breakdown of the hours you did work, the hours you didn't work, holiday pay, sick and annual pay, just making sure that everything adds up to however many hours you're supposed to work in a day. I don't want to say 8 because I know many people work 10. Some people work less.
16 during the holidays.
It happens.
Yeah.
So, but leave without pay is a right that you have when you have an accepted work injury, and continuation of pay is gone because your claim's accepted or because 45 days ran out. So a lot of people were saying, well, what is LWOP? What does that even mean? I understand. Look, acronyms are funny and they're tricky and they're confusing. Leave without pay. So you have to get a Form CA7. Now, whether your claim is a CA1 or a CA2, it happened in a single shift or it happened over time.
Correct.
You are potentially eligible for leave without pay if you have to be out of work medically. So the doctor will give a CA17, a duty status report, and it will say, this person can't work, or they can only work 4 hours instead of 8, or during their time, they can only lift this much instead of that much, or they can only walk this far instead of that far. It's just restrictions or totally off of work, and the form will also send you back to work.
Correct.
So you got to have that. Once your doctor takes you off of work medically, then how are you going to get paid? Leave without pay once your claim's accepted. So that's what that is. From the day of your injury, you can have COP if you have a CA1 claim. When COP runs out in 45 days, then you can do LWOP when the claim is accepted. So now the reasonable question should be, well, what about the time in between when COP runs out and the claim is accepted? Let's say that there's 30 days between when continuation of pay ends and your claim is accepted. How do you get paid for that 30 days? See, that's the tricky part, because that's where you have to use your sick and annual leave or be at work clocked in. Obviously, if you can be at work clocked in, all better, right?
Correct.
But in that period of time between COP and being able to file LWOP, you got to figure out how you're going to get paid, because, the bills still are going to be there.
Yep.
Your rent and mortgage they're not going to say, well, you got hurt, so we don't really want our money. You're going to have to pay it. So you'll use sick and annual. And then later on, you'll have the opportunity to do leave buyback with the CA7B. It's not fair, but as I always say, there's not a lot of fair in OWCP that you have to pay to get that time back, but it's an option for you. You can buy it back using a form CA7B, which is essentially a worksheet to see what it's going to cost you to get your time back. So that's how it works. Continuation of pay on a CA1 form that is filed within 30 days of the injury. That lasts up to 45 days, followed by leave without pay once your claim is approved. These are all the ways to get paid if you're hurt at work and you can't work. Now, here's the thing. Let's say, and I hate this topic. I hate this so much. But let's say you're somebody who is separated from your employment. You're not going to get paid for time off because you no longer work there.
Right.
So now you're not going to get LWOP because you're not leaving work without pay. You just don't work there anymore. Right. So that's a scary situation. I hate it. I hate it for you, and you hate it even more than I do, obviously. But as long as you're employed by a federal agency, these are your rights. You have the right to COP, and you have the right to LWOP once your claim's approved. And at all times, get back to work as soon as humanly possible, because the worst thing for you to do is have to jump through hoops to get paid and pay your own bills. It sucks. All of our friends that have had to go through that, it's I think the most stressful thing they've had to go through.
Yeah. It really is.
And we want to help you avoid that sort of stress, of financial stress, by saying, hey, file your claim on time, which is today. Get better. Go to the doctor as soon as possible. Pick one that knows how to get a claim accepted, so you're not in danger of paying back COP. And then do everything the doctor tells you to do and get better and back to work so you can clock in, because the surest way to get paid is to clock in. So that's everything on COP and LWOP that I have to talk about tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions. The last thing that I want to see happen is anybody that's confused over this, they get off of this show tonight and they're still confused. That's unacceptable to me. You should not be confused when we're finished here. So ask your questions and I will answer them as concisely as I can. And if my answer doesn't work for you, ask it again. I'll go again.
Yeah.
This matters to me.
All right, we're going to start off. Mary, hello and good evening to all. Hello, Mary. Thanks for coming on. Lisa Moore, I'm on light duty, OWCP, and I'm getting a 0.6667 of my pay. I have a 14-year-old grandson who I'm a legal guardian of since he was 6 months old, and I provide everything for him, including his diabetic needs. I claim him on my taxes as a dependent, but Department of Labor says I don't get 75% for him because I did not adopt him. Is that correct?
Well, there's 67% and 75%, but that's based on numbers of dependents. So I would go back and look at their rationale, because if you count him as a dependent, then that should be good enough.
All right. So, Mary, this is going back to what we were talking about, federal employees getting fired. What are we going to do? Keep going to our PT until we get better? What if not? What are we going to do?
Well,
this is why we asked to speak to some of these union presidents, because of this. We need to know so we can give you real information.
Well, okay, so I'm going to answer your question. Believe me when I tell you, I'm going to answer your question very thoroughly. But I want to start with, it's a real personal decision on your part. Like, what are you going to do? Let me tell you what I would do. And just because I would do it doesn't mean you have to. But what would I do? I would work like hell to get better. So that would mean I would go to physical therapy if that's what the doctor thinks I need. If the doctor thinks I need surgery, I'd go get it. If the doctor thinks I need injections to get better, I'd get those. I would do whatever it takes to get better, because and this is the premise of the question, if I no longer work for that federal agency, I'm going to go work somewhere.
Right.
And wherever I go work, they're going to want me to physically be able to do it. And if they want me to physically be able to do the job in order to hire me, I need to be able to physically do the job in order to get hired. Therefore, I would do whatever the doctor told me to do to get better. And those of you that are new, just know I'm not a doctor. My partner Joe loves it when I say that, but I'm not a doctor. And so I'm not giving you medical advice, but I am saying, what would I do? I would put myself in the best position to get the next job possible. That's what I would do. And with all that said, I hope you all understand what I said in the beginning. I pray to God this doesn't happen to you.
But Mary, continue going to your PT because you still will have your
The
benefits.
better thing to, that's true, but the better way to put it is continue following your doctor's orders,
Yeah.
whatever they are.
Because as far as I know right now, you're still going to be able to get all your benefits.
No, it's not even as far as we know. The law says that you have lifetime medical benefits. That's the law. And it would take an act of Congress to change the law, and Congress can't agree on stuff. So I'm not worried about the law changing. I'm worried about you not working there anymore.
Roger Columbus, few questions. Job related, out of work, have been back to work close to 2 years, light duty. Management gives me what they want for hours, ignoring my doctor's notes and direction. Just wondering, is the brain injury on a settlement list yet? That's number one.
He's talking about schedule awards, and the brain is not listed on the schedule award chart.
Currently trying to transfer as accommodation, but afraid of being put on probationary period. On tonight's topic, because my doctor wants me to work 2 days, have one off, then 2 more days on. When I have a doctor's appointment for an injury on Monday, I cannot work more than 3 days in a row per doctor's orders. When I put in for 2 days of LWAP, the mission supports told me I'm allowed one LWAP day per week, and I have to have my doctor make my appointments on LWAP days. Can you private message me because I have questions a little bit off the topic?
All right, let me say this, okay? This is a big deal. As many of you know, if not all of you, we work with doctors all over the country. We have 68 offices and counting. We work with medical doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, chiropractors, PTs, OTs, PTAs, OTAs, and massage therapists. We work with all of the disciplines in healthcare. And I can tell you this, having managed healthcare practices my entire adult life, sometimes doctors' offices are closed. What if your doctor's office is closed on your day off?
Yeah.
How are you going to go to the doctor if you're only able to go, because management said so, on your LWAP day?
Right.
So that's not a rule. You have to be able to go to the doctor when the doctor is available to you. What if your LWAP day is Thursdays or Tuesdays and doctors take Thursdays or Tuesdays off? What if your LWAP day is Friday and your doctor's office is closed on Friday? It just doesn't make any sense. Your supervisors are just making this up. That's not a rule. You have the right to go whenever your doctor is available to see you.
Correct.
Now, with that said, if the doctor is available on your day off, your LWAP day, I suggest going because the surest way to get paid is to clock in. I wouldn't want to go during a day where I can clock in because it's easier to get paid on the clock than off the clock,
right?
Using LWAP. Now, even though tonight's topic is COP and LWAP is tricky. You have to jump through hoops to get paid.
Yeah.
And so every opportunity you have to get paid on the clock, I would take it because it's easier for you in the long run.
So I'm going to read a message I got personally sent. I won't say who it is, and I won't say who's, all the info. I work in Georgia. That's all I'm going to tell you. Our office will not accept a doctor's note that says under my care. I'm being fired after my doctor sent my whole medical file to my supervisor. Very private stuff was in there. I need help.
Contact OSHA. Call 1-800-321-OSHA and ask them if being fired for having a work injury is legal. Is that a violation?
Right.
Because OSHA says that you have the right to report a work injury, and it says that it's against the law for anyone to impede your rights. I wonder what happens if, because of a work injury, which is a temporary disability status, if you're fired. I wonder what OSHA says about that. I would ask for sure. I think the Office of Personnel Management may be an interesting place to call as well. But I don't know why I keep choking. OPM may be an interesting choice, a place to call as well, or they may be able to give you some insight on who's better to call. But I know that you can't. Disability is a protected class. A disability is a protected class, just like race, religion, all that stuff, right? It's a protected class. So I don't know how the government's going to get away with firing people because they have an injury. I think that's why there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of lawsuits, because a disability is a protected class. The Americans with Disabilities Act basically says that. So just call around and see what people say. But I think there's going to be lawsuits. I think most of the lawsuits will be driven by the unions, just like AFG is doing now. And they won their first one.
Yep.
At least there was an injunction.
Well, the injunction, yeah.
So it's going to be, this is a touch and go situation. And I'm sitting here right now telling you I don't have all the answers on this, because it's like, remember when COVID happened and everyone's like, what do we do? Well, this is new. This has never happened
This is
before.
new for us as well.
And this is new and it's never happened before. So we're all kind of in uncharted territory, but the worst thing you can do is sit on your hands and don't ask. Go talk to people.
So the reason I read that last message is because Michael said, if your claim has been approved, can they fire you?
All right. So those of you that know me know that I like can and can't questions. Can they? Yeah. Is it legal? I don't think so.
Especially if you're on OWCP.
I don't think it's legal to fire somebody because of a disability status, but this is why we got to ask the questions. A lot's going to happen right now. I think a lot is going to be uncovered and give us guidance in the future based on what's going to happen right now.
So that is why, if you missed my little rant at the beginning, I asked if I can speak to some nurse case managers and some union, whether you're a local union president or a state union president. We want to talk to you just for 15 minutes, get your take on what's going on. So that way we're able to deliver it to all the people watching us on our social media.
Yeah. And, not a knock on you, but your audience is what it is and ours is exponentially bigger. And so we're able to help a lot of people by getting the information from a few people.
Correct.
And that's what we want to do. I just want to be able to answer questions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the definitive source on this. I'm saying I'm going to go to the sources and tell you what they say. So hook us up.
Yep. Victor, this is why Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini trainings are between 2 to 4 hours. OWCP is a big topic and some members not going to understand it. Please go to your local unions and ask for OWCP training with Chris and Gini.
And we have a good time doing it.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, a lot. We really enjoy
especially with Florida APW.
I mean, we live here. These are really good friends of ours.
Mary, thank you. I will never stop going to my family in Forest Park. They always lift my spirit high. Well, that's good to know,
I'm really glad
Mary.
to hear that.
Yeah.
I really am.
Let's see. Emmy's answering somebody. Okay, somebody on YouTube.
Emmy's here?
Yeah, Emmy's on here.
So right before, let me just take a quick detour. Right before we got on this, Emmy was with our franchise doctors teaching about compliance tonight.
Yes.
So she had a 7 p.m. Eastern call with all of our offices, teaching them our new compliance manual. It's our updated compliance manual. I'm looking at mine right there because Federal Injury Centers is fanatic about compliance.
Yep, we are.
And so, Emmy, thank you for doing that and still being here helping out. I really appreciate it.
Lisa says, hello, I recently had surgery on my claim and my claim was accepted and was told to take LWAP and that DOL would pay me. I still have to go through therapy and I'm not out of work until the end of the month.
I didn't hear a question in there, but that all sounds
And she said, I called Department of Labor about my pay and was told my grandson does not qualify as a dependent with pay. Who else can I call?
Whatever your claims examiner says is the answer. I don't know if when you call DOL, if you talk to your claims examiner, but that's the answer.
Yeah. Native Strong on YouTube says, love Federal Injury Centers. They saved my life.
What?
Wow.
That's a big statement. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for saying that.
The OWCP is designed to frustrate you back to work, whether you are physically ready or not. Only Federal Injury Center doctors knows what they're doing. Well, thank you, Native Strong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I always say this. Actually, I think Tom said this first, our partner, that OWCP was created with confusion as part of like the building blocks of it. It's confusing.
It is.
It's frustrating as hell.
OWCP in general, and this is why we do what we do, is absolutely confusing. Chris has been doing it since 2007. I've been with him since 2016 doing this, and it's still confusing. I still have to ask him questions because I still don't know the answer to some of these
You wouldn't believe how many times like somebody will ask a random question and I answer it and she's like, how do you know that?
Yeah, he knows it.
I just do. And Tom is the same. Like I was just saying earlier, Tom's in Boston teaching what I teach, using my presentation. And everyone said, this is the greatest thing we've ever been taught. Why hasn't everybody told us about this before? Why don't we get to learn this? Like, why am I only just hearing about this?
I know.
I hear that all the time. And Tom is really excited to be able to do that. But it's a confusing thing, OWCP. It really sucks how confusing it is.
Mike said, My boss is refusing to let me come back on light duty.
So, and
Oh,
first of all, and I know what you mean, Mike, when you say light duty, but this is an educational platform. So there's a difference between light and limited duty. Mike, I know what you're talking about. Limited duty is for OWCP, light duty is for everything else, right? So, like, you're sick, you got hurt playing basketball on the weekend, you get light duty. Limited duty is a term just for OWCP. And so I said that to say this: if your boss is refusing to let you come back on limited duty, that's a union issue. If your claim is not accepted, that's probably the reason why. If your claim is accepted, by law, they have to make every effort possible to give you a limited duty offer and then give you 30 days to review it after your claims examiner says it's a valid offer.
correct.
So also, you don't have to sign it under protest. You still can. I'm just telling you, that's not in the rules anywhere. The rules state that your limited duty offer goes to your claims examiner. The claims examiner reviews it and says to you, hey, we think there's a good offer here. Go show your doctor. We'll see you in 30 days. Now, with that said, what's the surest way to get paid?
Clock in.
So go see your doctor today,
if
tomorrow.
you can.
As soon as possible, get
Right.
back to the doctor and get back on the clock, because stop jumping through hoops to get paid.
Do not re-injure yourself. If you cannot, whatever the doctor says, do what the doctor says. Don't try to go over, the limit of what your doctor says because your supervisor is telling you to do that.
Yeah, and the opposite of that is if your doctor tells you to go back to work, don't stay home. People will say to me frequently, less now than years ago, but people would say, yeah, I'm not getting paid for these 2 weeks. I don't understand. Can you help me? And I said, sure. Send me your CA-17. And the CA-17 said, go back to work limited duty. And this person said, I don't think I can do it. And they just stayed home.
Yep.
If you just stay home when your doctor says you can go back, I can't help you. And if I can't help you, nobody can.
Lisa said, I'm sorry, my question wasn't put on in my earlier chat. I wanted to know if the information I received was correct or incorrect, meaning about her grandson and the pay.
Yeah. So I'm actually surprised. Look, I'm not perfect. I've never been stumped yet. This may be the first time. But I'm surprised if the IRS allows you to use this person as your grandson, not this person, your grandson, as a dependent. I'm surprised that OWCP's got an issue with you having a dependent, because
he's not adopted. That was the question.
But she's not my daughter, but technically she can still be my dependent, right? Or I'm not her son, but I technically could still be her dependent. It doesn't make sense to me. One of my sons could, and I swear to God, if you guys are listening, I will slap you so hard, could have a kid before they're done with school. And that kid I could take care of, and that would be my dependent. So I don't understand. I just think that somebody's giving you bad information, because typically the IRS, their definition of dependent should just fly everywhere. It just should.
Oh, Lisa says, I'm not talking about my grandson. Okay, can you just clarify the message real quick, Lisa, just so we know what question you want Chris to answer? Just I probably got confused. Michael said, or Mike, sorry, Mike. I have a friend that's been off work for over a month, and management said that they cannot pay her any money until her case is approved.
Okay, well, that's true.
That is true.
That's true.
Yes.
The case has to be approved, and without an approved case, you have no benefits.
Yes.
Zero. Nothing. Everything I talk about is like invalid if you don't have an approved claim. So that's true.
Two things.
That's why you got to get a doctor who knows how to get a claim approved. And that's why we have doctors. That's why I started Federal Injury Centers. It's why it's a franchise. It's why we have 68 offices around the country, because we started doing this before the franchise was created. And everyone said, well, that's great information. There's no doctors. What the hell are you trying to do here?
All right.
And so we said, okay, let's give you doctors.
We have on YouTube, good night, Chris and Gini. Well, good night to you too. My question, I have a 5C, then second opinion, said I'm fully recovered, but my doctor has me unable to work. They also sent a proposal termination. What?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not a doctor, so I don't have a medical opinion on this. However, I understand how the second opinion system works. And typically the claim examiner is just asking them like limited questions. They barely look at you. They spend 5 minutes with you. They almost never touch you. They don't really do what I would consider an evaluation. And again, I'm not a doctor, so what I think of an evaluation is irrelevant, but it's what I think. I've been to the doctor a lot of times, and I know that they evaluate me.
Correct.
What I've heard about second opinion doctors is those things that you generally consider to be part of the evaluation process don't happen. And at that point, what they're going to do is say your doctor's information and the second opinion doctor's information, which one has a greater weight? And that's the one they're going to look at. So your doctor is going to have to do a great job writing a great narrative refuting the second opinion doctor. And then they may send you to a referee doctor who may or may not be fair. More likely than not, they will be, though. And but in any case, consider this: what if the second opinion doctor is right?
Right.
What if? What if that second opinion doctor is right and you can go to work and your doctor's keeping you off? You are a member of the treatment team. Patients are part of the team. Okay, so you're a patient in this case. If you think you can work, you should go talk to your doctor about that and get a CA-17 that says so.
Yeah.
So be part of the process. Don't allow, this is just the other side of the coin for me. Don't allow a doctor to keep you off of work when you know you shouldn't be. But at the same time, if you think, I think he's right, I don't know how I could do that job, I think my doctor's right. Your doctor's got to prove it.
Yeah.
And that's the system. And as I always say, the system doesn't have fairness built into it.
They also said facts. Second opinion doctor was
Trash.
Never examined me.
We hear this all the time.
We hear this constantly, almost every day.
It is 100% the biggest complaint about the second opinion system.
Yeah.
No, without question, the second biggest complaint is so far down you can't even see it.
Yeah. Victor, this is for any and all USPS employees. So Victor is in the Orlando area. He is a chief steward and he has a bunch of titles.
For APW.
Yeah, for APWU. He said, this is for any and all USPS employees. Management as a whole were trained to mismanage. Don't be afraid. Light duty and limited duty are two different topics and different rules. But we are here to help any APWU members. So if anybody has any questions about APWU, you can reach out to Victor. He knows his SHIT.
And so my doctor is right. I have nerve damage. Yeah, so that's the thing. And again, I don't know anything about it because I don't understand nerve damage. I'm not a doctor. But I would trust my own doctor. If my doctor said anything, I would trust my doctor. So your doctor's going to have to write a great narrative, e-comp it to your claims examiner, and try to appeal to their good senses. The cool thing is claims examiners are federal employees too. They don't just wake up in the day and say, I hope I can screw people over today.
Correct.
Because it could be them. Like I said, I was in a class teaching OWCP to claims examiners. They care about this very much. So give them something to care about.
Yeah. Lisa said, I recently had surgery and my case was accepted and was told to take LWOP and then DOL would pay me. I'm out of work until the end of the month. Just wanted to know if the information I was given, if it was correct or incorrect.
It was correct. And so one thing I didn't talk about is if you're going to do LWOP using a CA7, how do you get paid? First of all, you file your CA7 on ecomp, ecomp.dol.gov. And it gives you an opportunity to upload documents. You need to upload a narrative from your doctor explaining medically why you have to be out of work. You need to ecomp your CA-17 that took you out of work. You need to ecomp a form CA-20, attending physician's report, that basically gives your status of what's going on with you. And also ecomp any printouts of any appointments that you were at related to your work injury that prevented you from going to work. Attach all that stuff to your CA7. If you don't attach documentation, you won't get paid. I guarantee it. I should have said that before.
Stephanie Saylor, USPS requested a clarification of my restrictions from a second opinion. Got a new $24.99 based on his opinion, which they are misinterpreting, and it's against my restrictions. If I accept it under protest and try to do what I can they turn around and try to get me for going against my restrictions, or should I just refuse it?
Well, can they? Again, it's a can question. They can. It's unethical.
Correct.
It may be a violation of law. I don't know. But again, 1-800-321-OSHA, if you're being forced to go back to work against your doctor's medical advice, that might be a safety problem. And the S in OSHA is safety. OSHA is motivated for you not to be injured worse at work. So I would just call 1-800-321-OSHA and ask, look, I understand that the system is set up the way it is, but my doctor says that this isn't safe. Is this a problem?
Mm-hmm. And also remember when a couple of weeks ago when Chris talked about when they give you your, what is that paper called? You have 30 days to request
your limited duty assignment.
Your limited duty.
Limited duty offer.
Right. You have 30 days. A lot of you have been messaging me since then asking, is that true? Where is the law on that? And he's finding it.
All right.
There is a law on that.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We're going to talk amongst ourselves. Let's see.
So I got this book, and it's Breaking OWCP. Unfortunately, you can't buy it right now. Under construction. But chapter 21 says, "Don't be bullied into accepting limited duty offers today." So page 35. Here's what it says.
Like Victor said, call OSHA, guys. Call 1-800-321-OSHA. Call them and ask. You can even be miscellaneous and don't put your name.
So in the FICA manual, chapter 2-0814 is called Job Offers and Return to Work. Number 4 says offers of employment, and I just paraphrased it in my book. It's got more words when you read it, but here's basically what it says. If the agency can provide alternative limited duty work, it will make an offer to the injured employee and provide a copy to the OWCP. So I said, why do you suppose they're required to give a copy to OWCP? So look below. OWCP 20 CFR, this is the Code of Federal Regulations.
Correct.
20 CFR 10.516. You can go back and replay this. We're not going to delete it. 20 CFR 10.516. It says OWCP, in other words, the claims examiner, shall, meaning absolutely, shall advise the employee that it has found the offered work to be suitable and afford the employee 30 days to accept the job or present any reason to counter OWCP's finding of suitability. To counter what? OWCP's finding of suitability, not your supervisor's. The supervisor's got to run it past the claims examiner. Okay, 20 CFR 10.516. If OWCP finds that the reasons that you gave not to accept the limited duty offer are not acceptable, it'll give you another 15 days to accept the job offer without penalty. So that's the rule in the Code of Federal Regulations. That supersedes anything your supervisors say.
And I know a lot of you guys are asking about it. So Yolanda Snell said, limited duty offer. Once you accept it, that's it. She knows.
Yeah.
So seriously, you have 30 days. But like Yolanda said, once you accept it, even if they come to you on day 2 and said, sign this, that's it. You have to accept it. You should think about it. You have 30 days.
Yeah.
And there is a law. So the supervisors, if they don't know, find the law. I'll go ahead and post it on there as well. Yep, Yolanda, that's right.
That's
correct.
Right. And look, I don't want you to have unnecessary problems with management, but unfortunately, my experience is those unnecessary problems are management's fault, not yours.
Yep.
So show them the rules, and then let's see what happens.
I just wanted to bring some stuff up to you guys where Chris and Gini is going to be, because now our travel season has started. We started early this year. I'm shocked. Let's see. Where are we going to be? Starting in April, we are going to be in the first week in April. We are going from the 31st to the 4th of April. We are going to be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We've never been, so we're looking forward to being there. We are with AFGE DECA. We are going to be doing a 3-4 hour training. We have the following week, we are going to be in Las Vegas at the Nevada State APWU convention. And along with APWU, we are going to have NALC of Las Vegas there at our training, which we're super excited. And then in May, from May 6th to May 9th, we are going to be in Fort Myers for the APWU Spring Booster for Florida in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it so far. So you guys still have time. Those of you that are having state conventions and national conventions, you still have some time to get us in. If you want us to come do our training, the training is free. It is 2 to 3 hours long. We bring books.
It's not a sales presentation.
It's not a sales presentation. We bring these little books and we just give them out, or our little giveaways we give away. So as of April, that's it that we have booked so far. So if there's people still wondering, we are available.
But with that said, this is very important. Our travel schedule doesn't just consist of union training.
Correct.
I am the president of a franchise called Federal Injury Centers, and I travel around and meet with our offices and our doctors, and I make sure things are going smoothly in the office so that you have a good experience. All of my team does that. And we also do travel related to other business things because we get coaching and all kinds of stuff. And once something gets on the calendar, it's on.
Yeah, we can't.
I don't change it. It's locked in. So if you want us, we're happy to help. But if you happen to ask us to come to a thing where I've already scheduled something, even if the schedule is nothing really important, it's on my calendar, it's locked in.
Yeah. And we will also be not, well, we won't on April 14th through the 18th of March. We will have, I think, our Chicago office and one of our case managers out at the APWU's President Convention in DC. So you guys
Hopefully.
can go by and say hello and grab some free stuff. And if you guys want us to come train, you'll have to talk to whoever we're going to be sending out there.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to announce, and this is huge because you guys always look forward, and I know we have 2 questions, and I'm going to answer them. Next week, March 12th, guess what time of the year it is? It's the end of the first quarter, and guess what we have for you? Woodshed Night.
I was going to say St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I mean it is the following week. But Woodshed Night, if you're new here and don't know what Woodshed Night is, I don't. Chris takes the supervisors behind, not in, behind the woodshed and give him a spanking or two because
Verbally.
we talk about the rules, laws, and regulations that supervisors are supposed to follow and they don't.
Yeah.
So we will be doing that March 12th. What supervisors, and I'm only paraphrasing what people said, the lies, they don't know, or whatever. We're going to tell you the rules, laws, and regulations on everything OWCP next Wednesdays that the supervisors should actually do and help you.
And with everything going on right now with you,
Yes.
I think this is going to be an especially fun Woodshed Night.
It will be. All right, let's see. We got Jenna. It's my understanding that field nurses get assigned to claims for people that haven't gone back to work. I have an accepted claim. My boss took me off limited duty back in December. It's not like I don't want to go to work. I never got another offer from my employer. I'm doing everything I can to get better and go back to work full time. This includes 3 days of PT a week. I spoke with my claims examiner today, and she told me that I will be receiving a letter saying I don't have to file CA7s anymore, that I will now be paid monthly.
Yeah, so that means you're on the rolls, which means that you'll just get paid. You won't have to keep turning in documentation. So that's good for you. It means you're being hassled less. It means you'll jump through almost 0 hoops to get paid. But again, the very best situation for you is to get better, follow your doctor's orders, and get back to work as soon as medically possible. But congratulations on that, I guess. I mean, of course, that also means you're hurting out of work. So I'm not sure how far congratulations goes on that.
Lisa, if I can't make the conventions, can you send books out if requested? So Chris is working. We're working on getting out book 5, which will include all 4 volumes. Exactly, these books will be in volume 5, so you're not missing anything.
Plus a little new content.
It will be a little bit more than what we normally charge, but this is the last book he's doing. That's it. He needs to cut himself off.
I don't think I'm ever going to write another book on this topic. I might write other books, but this is probably the last time I'm going to write a book on this particular topic, OWCP. Now, with that said, I acknowledge also I'm the only person that's ever cared enough to help you the way I do. So if something really big happens and you need to be taught about it, I'll probably write something else then. But if nothing else changes, this is going to be the last book I ever write.
And I know some of you are asking, how do I get volume 1, 2, 3, 4? I know.
I'll have the website fixed. My web girl.
Yeah.
We'll have that up and running soon, and we'll be back online. I'll let you know.
But I'm telling you, book 5 is what you want, regardless if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever books you bought. Book 5 is going to be awesome, and it's going to include 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're not missing anything if you get book 5, because all 4 books will completely be in there, and then it's going to be the end.
But again, this is a page that's not for sales. I'm not trying to sell books on this page. I'm going to have books. You can have them if you want them.
But we can say this. With his books, he's helped people where we don't have locations like Nebraska and Iowa, North Dakota.
I don't want people to be turned off thinking, oh, I'm just going here to get sold. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell you anything. If you want something, I'll try to facilitate you having it. Same with federal interest centers. I don't need you to go to one of our offices to come here. You need the help. Come here. Whether you go to one of our offices or not. And many of you sadly can't because there's not one near you.
Correct.
So that's not what this page is for. If you're new here, this page is education, period. But we do have these resources available for you.
I got Jenna. Jenna said, it's my understanding
You
that
already read that one.
Oh, did I? Okay. Martha, injury comp sent me a blank CA-17 to my doctor and expected my doctor to fill out without filling the other side first. Can you train injury comp so they understand how to do their job, Phoenix, Arizona? If they want us to come
Can
train,
I? Yes, but they
we
won't like
can.
it. They're not going to like it.
Definitely, Martha. You tell those supervisors or whoever else you need to be trained that we will come and train. Lisa, if I can't make the okay.
You did that one.
Victor, when is the next OWCP live webinar? Okay, Victor. So we will do a live webinar when we get to Fort Myers for sure. We're gonna get Ian. We're gonna get Rob. We're gonna get Victor. And
that'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Roger, I cannot thank you enough. This is special. Keep it up when you're trying to bring hope.
Thank
you. Is a convention available to us? Okay, so how these conventions work, we do state and national trainings. It is 2 to 3 hours. We come, we set up we're with the vendors, we have books and whatnot there. The training is free, but somebody from your union needs to invite us. And if that's the case, they need to email me, Gini, Gini, at federalinjurycenters.com. And if we're available, we will definitely come and do the training, and it is for free.
Otherwise, the only way a convention is available to you is if you're in the particular union, but we're not authorized to invite anybody outside of the unions to our trainings. We're just not authorized to do that.
Some union representatives don't give information to the employees.
We're working on that.
We know that.
But we work with unions a lot, especially APW. And AFGE, we work with them a lot, teaching the stewards about what we're doing. So
we do steward training as well.
So we're working on your union representatives getting stronger at this. It's complicated. Don't be too mad at them for not understanding, I think, the most complex topic I've ever learned in healthcare. This is really complex.
Yeah, we hear that some of your union stewards don't want to help you. Then you go to the next level. Go to your union president, go to your NBAs, and go to your somebody. Somebody is going to help you and somebody is going to listen. So don't give up.
And Stephanie and Yolanda are both asking about Northern California. Eventually, yes.
Oh, she said North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, yes.
We're coming.
And Northern California, yes.
Yes.
I won't ask you to be patient because as those of you that know me know, I'm not patient about anything.
So if you're asking about locations, they're coming. If you're asking about if we're coming to train, it is all on your state president. So go harass your state president.
Yeah, somebody's got to invite us. All right, so tonight that was it. We did COP, we did LWAP. I hope now you understand more about how to get paid if you can't clock in, which is the surest way to do so. And if you have any more questions, you can keep messaging us. We'll keep answering.
Yeah.
You can continue to comment here and ask questions. We'll get to them as soon as we can.
Or if you guys want a private message, you can.
Yep. And so we're really happy that you're here. Tell your friends that we're here doing this. There's no time that's been more important to understand OWCP, I think, than right now.
Yes.
You have so much going on. It's so much uncertainty. I would imagine a lot of fear. And we just want to be a good resource for you. So if you need anything from us, let us know. But don't forget, whether you're somebody that's worried about losing your job or not, the soonest time to do anything is now.
Yeah.
Report your injuries today. Okay. Or if today's impossible because it's so late, do it tomorrow. Report your injuries because if you wait, it might be too late. And that's going to be a disaster. And I don't want that for you.
Yeah. All you got to do is go on ecomp.dol.gov. You can file it right now, sitting in your bed, and just get it started.
But you got to report to your supervisor. Don't forget to do that.
If we want the books, do we email? Okay, so when we're ready with book 5 and it's ready to go live, we will definitely post it and we will let you know, and everybody's going to be buying it. So pay attention to those posts. If you do get an invite from Wednesday night OWCP chats, please accept it. This is how you get to see our posts, what's coming, what we're talking about. Share it with your friends. Share. And if you're tagging people on here, don't forget to put the @ and with their name. So with that said, like Victor said, keep fighting for your rights. And we'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the rules, laws, and regulations that supervisors should follow.